get right into it. Did anybody see Piers Morgan? He had Mark Geragos, uh, a wonderful attorney. He had another guy who was representing, I believe, Suge Knight, and we all know how that went. And then we had Lord Jamar, along with Brother Pierce. And the general consensus among the professionals in this category is, aside from the baby oil, we really don't know what this man has done to warrant a federal case. And a lot of people seem to lean solely on the fact of, well, the feds just don't charge people. And I would have to say, yeah, no. Donald Trump, he was charged by the feds. Eric Adams in New York was also charged by the feds. And oddly enough, the attorney who is now, well, he's not the attorney, but whoever charged these people, he is no longer serving, right? It was like a career moment. It was like, Kobe Bryant hitting up, 60 or whatever in his last game. So it kind of didn't mean anything. And we saw what happened. Eric Adams, his charges are dropped. Donald Trump, convicted felon, as haters would like to say, but nobody really cares. Most of your baby daddies and your favorite rappers are all felons, right? Anyways, I digress. The main point here is this case is not that solid. If you remove, and this is what Mark Geragos said, if you remove the video, what do you honestly have against Diddy, right? Because what it is that you're alleging, again, you're alleging that this man has immense wealth from what? I mean, follow the money, follow the bad, well, not in his end, but his bad business dealings with a lot of his artists. That's how he snaked a lot of people out of a lot of money. Diddy is not, he is not a good person, right? But the main point is that everybody gets fair and equal representation under the law. And right now, like I said, I've said this, I am a truck driver. However, I do know certain things, and when you pay attention to things, you can clearly see that there is something that is not exactly right here. And it's not right at all. And the main point is, if they can do this to people like Eric Adams, if they can do this to people like Donald Trump, if they can do this to people like Diddy, what does the common person, what do you have that these people don't? Because clearly their money isn't necessarily getting them out of anything. And when you become a target of the state for whatever reason, they can pull your card whenever they want. And, they can take your freedom. And I think that that is absolutely horrifying. And I really liked what Mark Geragos and this other attorney was saying, because they're like, look, man, we're not saying this guy is a... He doesn't need an award for being a good person. He doesn't need any of that, but they just stuck to the fact that this case is extremely weak. And they were going off of a lot of these public filings that a lot of people have seemingly ignored. When there's two different conversations that's being held at the same time when you're talking about Diddy. One, it's always about the videotape. Number two, it's everything that was immediately put out to the media, which I think is terrible. I mean, we're talking about guns, okay, whatever. We're talking about baby oil, and we're talking about freakoffs. What does this have to do with anything, right? And the whole point is they have held this man pretty much for what, 8-9 months at this point? I'm telling you, I have said this I have said this as a nobody in it remotely in that field at all, right? I'm having I'm having big time doubts that he's going to end up getting any kind of conviction. And again, I just had that thing with the lawsuits, Mr. Tony Busby. This is not as rock solid as what people think and what they have thought. And honestly, I am so glad this all this hinges upon hearsay and what people have alleged. This is Me Too 2.0. And really, what kind of got all that started was Blake Lively. I mean, we all saw, oh, I'm a victim, this happened to me. And now we find out her and her husband, Deadpool, Ryan, right? Ryan Reynolds, y'all are just scumbags. And that's the whole point. This is a very precarious time that we live in. That's the main that is the main absolute takeaway of this. This does not make sense. Whatever it is that you know nothing. And I think this whole Diddy case really proves it. Outside of him being wildly abusive and just being a general freak, what is it that you actually know about this guy? You know what the media has told you. So, it's personal bias, it's all these other things. Like I said, I get it. I get why people don't want to rock with it because it is absolutely horrendous. However, just because you don't like how somebody is doesn't mean that you get to yank the carpet out from underneath somebody, right? I mean, come on. We have chicks with dicks that are now women. Anybody can do whatever they want.